Every time you've watched the Super Bowl, you've probably stuck around for more than just the game. Some people love the competition, some watch it for the halftime performance, and some people just love the communal experience at those Super Bowl parties. Whatever your reason might be, almost everyone would agree that the commercials are one of the most entertaining parts of the whole show. Over the last few decades, this annual championship has given us some iconic commercials that debuted during the Super Bowl and left their impression forever. Welcome to Planet Biz. The Super Bowl might just be the only event on TV where people willingly watch the commercials. Because the Super Bowl is more of an annual holiday than a sporting event, businesses have capitalized on the opportunity to advertise their products more successfully than any other time of the year. With over 100 million people tuning into the game, the Super Bowl has everyone fighting for its most desired 30-second ad slot. This just goes to show how the whole event has mastered the art of advertising and making huge profits off of it. Because there's so much buzz surrounding the Super Bowl, commercials that get aired during the event are given additional airplay and exposure even after the game. What else could you want? The history of the Super Bowl commercial started when the first Super Bowl was played back in 1967. Back then, the NFL just completed its merger with the American Football League, and the Super Bowl became the playoff game between the two leagues' champions. At the time, it only aired on NBC and CBS, and both the channels were free to charge companies any amount they wanted for a 60-second ad slot. NBC charged companies $75,000 for a 60-second spot, while CBS charged $85,000. A 30-second ad spot cost $42,000, which is worth about $316,000 today. Brands like Atari, McDonald's, and Coca-Cola were some of the big names that used the sporting event to market their new products. One of the most memorable commercials in the early days of the Super Bowl was the 1981 Chrysler campaign that set off a huge battle between the motor company and its rivals Ford and General Motors. Since then, Chrysler has made several appearances at the event and is now known for its famous long-form ads that are a staple of most Super Bowl games. Super Bowl commercials aren't anything like your average old ads. These commercials have become so iconic over the years because of how brands always go out of the box to create something that people will remember forever, even more than the actual game. Featuring special effects, comedy, and celebrity endorsements, Super Bowl ads are nothing if not entertaining. However, the legacy of Super Bowl commercials started in 1984, when Apple completely changed the game. The ad itself cost about $370,000 to produce, but that year, the average 30-second spot cost $525,000. Steve Jobs used the ad to promote the Macintosh just days before the official release. The commercial took inspiration from George Orwell's famous dystopian novel, 1984.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
The decision to air this commercial during the Super Bowl was a smart move because the ad launched Apple as a computing powerhouse and made the Mac one of the best-selling computers of its time. That kicked off a whole new era of advertisement, where the Super Bowl ran ads for Doritos, Pepsi, and even brands as huge as Nike. But in 1987, Disney associated itself with the Super Bowl and helped the event become even more of an advertising showcase than it already was. Disney's most famous campaign for the Super Bowl was titled, "I'm Going to Disney World," and featured players from the winning team saying the famous slogan after they were asked what they were going to do after the game.
Won the Super Bowl. What are you doing next? I'm going to go to Disney World.
Disney has reportedly offered players $30,000 if they participate in the commercial and visit the Disney theme park afterwards as part of their campaign. Doesn't sound like a bad deal at all, right? Soon after that, the 30-second spot crossed the $1 million threshold in Super Bowl 29 and would hit $2 million only 5 years later. And by Super Bowl 50, 30 seconds would cost companies $4.5 million and the broadcast would garner 112 million viewers. Now, considering the high cost of purchasing the advertisement slots and then the price of actually producing the ad, in the 2010s, companies started to back out from the race. Regular advertisers such as Dr. Pepper, General Motors, and Pepsi chose to skip the Super Bowl, although Pepsi did make a comeback in 2013, and GM followed in 2014. As a lower-cost alternative, some advertisers have elected to purchase advertising time during the game's extended pregame shows or from the network affiliates that broadcast the show. While most Super Bowl ads have remained memorable, the show has also had a history of choosing some controversial brands to promote during its breaks. And the first in line was actually an advertisement from General Motors from 2007 that received a huge backlash for its glorification of suicide after it showed a robot killing itself after being fired from its job. The company had to remove their ad from all online platforms and even edited out the suicide scene from future airings. But the impression that the original commercial had on the audience during the Super Bowl is definitely something people will always remember. However, the Super Bowl certainly knows how to learn from its mistakes because after that, tons of ads from companies like PETA have been rejected countless times for their explicit content, since the sporting event likes to keep things PG for the most part. But of course, the Super Bowl is an American event, and all of its advertisements are restricted to an American audience, which means that people from other parts of the world often miss out on the annual commercial extravaganza. But of course, online postings of these iconic commercials have made things quite easier. The price of a 30-second Super Bowl spot went on to climb, with Fox charging as much as $5.6 million in 2020, despite the fact that Super Bowl TV viewership dropped each year for the last 4 years to the lowest level in a decade in 2019. Of course, with the COVID-19 pandemic, the league announced way back in October last year that the annual All-Star Game that is held each year before the Super Bowl has been canceled and will be replaced with virtual activities in consultation with the NFL Players Association. While the Super Bowl has held its own space in American pop culture, with its advertisements becoming a feature almost as big as the actual game, the pandemic might just change all of that in a second. While usually huge companies compete for commercial slots during the game, the pandemic has tons of big brands backing out this year. According to the New York Times, companies like Sabra Hummus, SodaStream, and Avocados from Mexico, which made a splash in ads last year, have opted out of Super Bowl 55. With most of the game's logistics and dates still being up in the air, it makes sense as to why these companies would want to sit this one out. However, if things go well, analysts predict that the season might experience an initial slowness, but the Super Bowl has some tricks up their sleeve to lure all the advertisers back in. According to CNBC, CBS is charging roughly $5.5 million for their 2021 Super Bowl spots. But with several spots unsold, it's likely CBS will package some Super Bowl ads with other sports programming commercial slots to appeal to brands that are still hesitating. As for now, fan-favorite companies like Toyota and Pringles are confirmed for their commercial slots, giving us hope that others might follow suit. But of course, to see what the future of Super Bowl commercials is going to look like, tune into the game on February 7th to see everything that the advertisers come up with this time around. For more inspiring business stories, give us a thumbs up. This is Planet Biz.